Coming up on Cannabis Coast to Coast News this week, another talk show appearance for VP Kamala Harris. This time, she talks to Howard Stern and warns, don't go to the Sphere in Las Vegas under the influence of cannabis. It's visually overwhelming. And more business failures in the industry from coast to coast as Ease lays off 500 employees and will close down delivery operations in California and Michigan by the end of the year. And the Massachusetts Cannabis Control Commission hands out 5-figure fines to Trulieve and to Ascend Wellness. So, while many companies are eyeing bankruptcy and receivership, cannabis giant Canopy Growth expands their U.S. presence by acquiring the Wana Wellness brand of popular edibles, the SEMA Group, and Mountain High Products. And while many social media sites shadow ban and shut down cannabis posts, the CEO of X, aka Twitter, welcomes cannabis posts on his platform. You know, we're talking about Elon Musk. On Cannabis Coast to Coast News with Elena Pinto. Next.
We are Pro Cannabis Media.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Cannabis Coast to Coast News, Pro Cannabis Media's weekly production of news from the ever-changing cannabis industry. I'm Elena Pinto. A reminder that the easiest way to find this news show will be to download our new app, PCM TV, available with a free download at the App Store and Google Play. We will start this week here in the Bay State of Massachusetts, where the Cannabis Control Commission has been busy dishing out fines to some of the biggest multi-state operators for a variety of violations. 4 months ago, the CCC came down hard on Trulieve for unsafe working conditions that led to the death of worker Lorna McMurray. That fine was $350,000. This past week, the CCC fined Curaleaf and Ascend Wellness for violations that were self-reported by both companies. Curaleaf's fine of $80,000 was for pesticide contamination in their Amesbury facility from 4 years ago. The CCC statement this week found that Curaleaf, quote, failed to utilize best practices to limit contamination of marijuana and exhibited negligence in its cultivation operations. The other MSO was Ascend Wellness, and they were fined $85,000 when they discovered a discrepancy in the tracking of products that was the fault of staff who failed to report the results of an internal audit of their inventory. The two tracking software platforms that are used by most dispensaries in Massachusetts is Metric, and the other is Leaf Logic, aka Dutchie. It seems that the two platforms were not in sync. So that led to some product that had been ordered ahead for in-store pickup being sold at the counter to walk-ins. It doesn't sound like such a big mistake, but the tracking of every product from seed to sale is the basis for all legal sales in the Commonwealth. In this year alone, the Cannabis Control Commission of Massachusetts has now dished out $785,000 in fines. That money goes into the Marijuana Regulation Fund. 15% of that is supposed to get deposited into the Cannabis Social Equity Fund. So what impact did Curaleaf's latest oops have on their publicly traded stock? That's why we have our own day trader, Doug Miller, who is high on Wall Street.
I'm Doug Miller from High on Wall Street with this week's Cannabis Stock Report for Cannabis Coast to Coast. Curaleaf has made massive amounts of progress in recent weeks as the company's focused on cutting costs and bringing new people on board. Curaleaf CEO Boris Jordan, he said that the company's changing the whole dynamic of how it operates. He also recently stated that the industry's going through a very difficult period, and there's a lot of major both catalysts and potential roadblocks in the way. Curaleaf is set to release its Q3 2024 financial and operational results on November 6, 2024, with a detailed conference call scheduled for that evening. So let's see how the stock chart's looking. It's trading around $2.97, and it's setting up as most of the cannabis stocks are. So watch for this bad boy to start running up. And as it does, trade smart and lock in those profits. And that's this week's Cannabis Stock Report. Reporting for Cannabis Coast to Coast, I'm Doug Miller.
For years, this Monday used to be called Columbus Day, but it is now identified as Indigenous Peoples Day, and October is a celebration of Native Americans, now called Indigenous Peoples Month. Many sovereign tribal nations are getting into the cannabis business. Some, like the Eastern Cherokee Nation in North Carolina, have opened adult use and medical sales in that state, where hemp-derived products are sold openly, but cannabis is still illegal to possess. Tina Tasaka is now covering the cannabis news coming from these tribes in her Nevada Cannabis Report.
I'm Tina Tasaka with 420 Technologies, and this is the Nevada and Tribal Nations Report for Cannabis Coast to Coast News. The Seneca County Supreme Court ruled again that grandma-approved Sovereign Trades, a marijuana dispensary in Seneca Falls, is operating illegally. The dispensary has been selling cannabis from a tool shed for over 3 years. Cayuga Nation sued after the town failed to stop the dispensary, leading to the October 4 decision. The court denied an attempt by Carlin Seneca John to overturn a previous ruling, emphasizing that federal laws governing the Cayuga Nation override local regulations. This marks the second legal victory for the nation, putting pressure on the town to enforce its laws. National Indigenous Cannabis Policy Summit, hosted by the Indigenous Cannabis Industry Association, will be held from November 13th through the 15th in Washington, D.C. This event will bring together tribal leaders, government officials, businesses, healthcare professionals, veterans groups, and advocacy organizations to address key challenges and opportunities in the cannabis and hemp industries for Indigenous communities. Rob Pirro, founder of ICIA and Candigenous, highlighted the importance of this year's event, saying, "In our third year of the summit and a pivotal election year, we have a unique opportunity to make an impact." The summit's theme, Tribal Cannabis Reform Moving Forward, aims to develop a plan for cannabis reform in the new administration. Registration is open at indigenouscannabissummit.com. In Nevada, on October 2nd, the Lyon County Sheriff's Office and several agencies raided 2 locations in Silver Springs and Stagecoach, uncovering an illegal marijuana growing operation. Over 1,500 plants, 1,000 pounds of processed marijuana, firearms, and large sums of money sent to Mexico were seized. 10 individuals were arrested, facing charges including drug trafficking and unlawful cultivation. The operation involved multiple law enforcement and government agencies, including the DEA and Homeland Security. As I sign off, this Vegas girl of 29 years must say goodbye to Miss Tropicana of 67 years. She was imploded this week. So long, farewell. We hate to say goodbye. The Tropicana Hotel and Casino. That's it for the Nevada highlights and Tribal Nations. I'm Tina Tasaka with 420 Technologies and Cannabis Coast to Coast News.
Lots of news this week from California, and none of it is very promising. Ease, one of the largest delivery operations in the Golden State and in Michigan, is laying off 500 workers and is scheduled to shut down by the end of the year. Ease had been known as the Uber of weed, but they defaulted on a $36.9 million loan, and the company could not recover from high operating costs, regulatory burdens, and competition from unlicensed legacy operators. And another example of the challenges of operating in the cannabis industry is that, especially in California. So now Ease joins MedMen, Flow, Canna, and Herbal as major players with valuations in the billions, who have all failed because of the strict regulations the Golden State had put in place to control the rollout of the adult use legal market. This failure has now put thousands of workers back on the streets looking for work, and the return of the legacy market to dominate. Sadly, this was the exact reason why the legal market was created in the first place. Overregulated, overtaxed, and licensed legal cannabis has crippled the number one market in the United States, exposing how to ruin a once vibrant state with a strong medical program. Well, now let's check in on the state that was the first on the West Coast to start a legal adult use market, Washington State, with Matthew Friedlander.
Hi, I'm Matthew Friedlander, coming to you from the owner's office here at Skagit Organics with the Washington State Cannabis Report for Cannabis Coast to Coast. In today's report, I will touch on some rulemaking at the LCB and give you some information about a few upcoming events. So the LCB has finalized some rulemaking sections recently, most notably the rulemaking surrounding the regulation of THC outside of our regulated system. So the THC content of hemp products in Washington. The LCB, there is rumors as well that they are considering changing our traceability system. They have recently sent out a survey looking for people's opinion from the industry on our opinions on the traceability system. So not good news. This hasn't gone well in the past when we've switched. 2018 to leaf data was a disaster. Actually, many businesses couldn't even conduct commerce for about 3 weeks. So again, I've submitted my opinion on the situation, and that is to leave things alone. A few upcoming events the Cannabis Alliance is hosting. We have a fundraiser here in Washington next Tuesday, the 16th, for Shelley Kloba. Representative Kloba has been a great advocate for the cannabis industry in past years, and we are hoping she will continue to support us as we support her. If you're in Washington, you can attend this event in person. Please visit thecannabisalliance.us, click on the calendar link, and look for an invite to that event. Also on October 17th, the Cannabis Alliance will be hosting a virtual town hall on bridging the divide between cannabis and hemp. This is a virtual event, like I said, so you can attend this from anywhere. If you, again, go to thecannabisalliance.us, click on the calendar link, you'll be able to find an invite for that. So that's what I've got for you this week out of Washington. My name is Matthew, reporting for Cannabis Coast to Coast. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.
Another state with declining sales continues to be New Mexico. The total sales numbers for September in that state have declined by $4.3 million. This market is only 2 years old, and it does seem to be leveling off, with total medical and adult use sales just $46.8 million for the month. New Mexico's total transactions for the month was just over 1 million, but the thriving legacy market seems to be the biggest factor, according to the Albuquerque Journal. Multi-state operator Schwazy told that newspaper that medical sales will probably continue to decline as consumers move over to the adult use sector, which is typical for states that have transitioned over to offering both. Since the legal market launched in New Mexico, total sales are now at $1.3 billion, but now seem to be slowing down. The September sales numbers were the lowest since February of this year. The newest state to open for adult use in addition to an established medical program is Ohio. Christina Brisson follows that state for us now, and here's her Ohio report, sponsored by Yellow Labs, a sublingual tincture product that is now in 40 dispensaries in that state.
In Willow Creek, Rory, renowned for birdwatching, embraced nature's elegance. Preparing for his woodland sojourn, he used Grape Focus THC Mist from Yellow Labs. Each spritz honed his senses, capturing avian beauty. Immersed in the forest symphony, Rory's lens froze vibrant moments. Emerging at twilight, gratitude filled him for the mist's clarity. Recalling, find Yellow Labs near you. Rory ordered more of his mist from...
Hi, I'm Christina Brisson with Over the Top Renovations with your weekly Ohio Cannabis Report with Cannabis Coast to Coast News. Short update this week, but our sales have exceeded $98 million in the first couple months of sales. And remember these moratoriums that I've talked about a few times? We have 111 of them already in place in Ohio. And now Marietta is looking to possibly join this. Now their council's going to have a vote on October 16th. Let's hope it goes the other way. Another fun fact I learned today is that, is it possible that cannabis is an anti-cancer agent? Preclinical studies show that cannabinoids, or suggest that cannabinoids may inhibit the growth of cancer cells, as well as promote cell death of the cancer cells. More information to come as I find out. Thank you so much, and that's your weekly Ohio Cannabis Report.
The Ohio Cannabis Report is supported by Yellow Labs and BetterWaysToTHC.com. Search for Yellow Labs near me and find one of 40 dispensaries in Ohio carrying these amazing mists and creams.
That will do it for the A block for this week's Cannabis Coast to Coast news. But coming up, we will head to Canada for news of Canopy Growth acquiring one of the biggest edible companies in the United States as that company continues its push into the US market. And Elon Musk is now claiming that X, once known as Twitter, is embracing the cannabis culture, which would be a switch for many of the social media companies who constantly ban or shut down cannabis posts. Cannabis Coast to Coast news continues after this.
Ready to take your craft to the next level? Imagine faster extractions, purer products, and more profits. Sounds good, right? At Pure 5 Extraction, we've revolutionized cannabis extraction with our game-changing technology. No solvents, no heat, just the cleanest, most natural process on the market. Whether you're a boutique grower or a large-scale operation, Pure 5 has the tools to elevate your business worldwide. Visit pure5extraction.com today. Pure 5 Extraction, because your plants deserve the best.
It's a whole new world of weed out there, isn't it? Everyone is learning new ways to titrate, ingest, consume, imbibe, and engage with this plant medicine we call cannabis. Now, let me tell you my cannabis story. You know, I've had 4 major surgeries in the past 23 years and suffer from osteoarthritis with a variety of metal parts in my body and one on deck. Now, thanks to those chronic pain issues, I've been a medical patient in Massachusetts for almost 10 years now. I remember my first trip to a dispensary just outside of Boston, and I told the bud tender I didn't want to smoke it anymore. So I tried edibles, then tinctures, then vaping, and now if I'm going to smoke, I only use the Weegits filtration system. What? The Weegits.com, Weegits, that's weed, W-E-E-D, G-E-T-S.com, is where you'll find the planet's coolest product that cools the smoke from everyone's favorite flower. The guy that started this was a pretty good medical device manufacturer, and he created this maze pipe that cools the smoking process from 1300 degrees Fahrenheit upon inflammation down to just 90 degrees when it reaches your mouth. That's right, 1300 down to 90. That's why this maze pipe is amazing. Now, add in the code of PCMTV and you get 15% off. So just go to Weegits.com and check out the best way to enjoy a cooler smoke with less coughing and hacking and more peace of mind.